गई वहाँ पे. Hello, can you hear me now? Hello, is audible? Okay, great. So sorry guys, let me just share what I shared a couple of minutes back, and I know a couple of questions have come in, but I just want to quickly take you through the through a parent's journey, through a journey of a parent and of a parent coach. Uh, so as I was saying, I became a parent in the year 2000. Aman, my firstborn, my son was born in 2000, June 2000. He'll be 18 in next week. So it's been 18 years of parenting, and then Vana is 12. She was born in 2006, and since 2008, when I quit my role as head of customer services and operation in Max and started off Parwarish, a company who took on working with parents, coaching parents. So it's been 10 years of parenting 24 by 7. So not just my two children, but hundreds and thousands of other parents and teachers and children we've worked with. Just to give you an experience, we've always questioned a father's role in parenting. We always thought about what can be a role be. It's mostly a woman's job. It's mostly a mother's job. Uh, what's the role of a parent? As a male, also a lot of people go into that whole thing that it's not my job. My job is put the resources on the table, make sure it's all available, make sure those resources are available, the money is available, I can afford taking him to a school or college or whatever. And nurturing of a child is very women centric work, and mothers are the ones who really bring up children. uh, but if you ask me, my personal experience of bringing up Aman and Vanya, it's been phenomenal. I thank God that earlier when I used to think I don't want to be a parent, it's a very tough job. Moving from that space to being a father, the whole experience of spending every day with them has been the most fulfilling, the most beautiful experience of my life. Uh, I, as a person, as a human being, have grown a few 100,000 times after I had my children. Um so my experience of the last 18 years as a father have been that as a person, as a human being, I've grown by bringing up my children. So my children have been my coaches, if I so, my life coaches for the last 10 years, 12 years. Sorry, 18 years is when Aman was born. That's one. Second, that whole experience, that joy and fulfillment which I get when I see my kids doing what they're doing, the relationship which I have with them, the conversations we have every day, is just too beautiful. Like if you ask me if I need to pick up one thing in my life which has given me pleasure, given me happiness, given me fulfillment, satisfaction, it's been that whole experience of being a father. Uh, uh, so a lot of people call that I'm a guy who's nurturing my children. It's amazing, and that's what the whole basis of Parvarish was. Like Parvarish was set up to give this experience to everybody in the world. So our mission is that we want every parent, mother, father, grandparents, to get this experience. It's a beautiful experience. Uh, and for people who are on this live chat right now, I want to give a quick experience of what I'm talking about, and what I'm so passionately, vehemently saying that it's one of the best experiences of my life. Like if you really and if people on the call are parents right now, see, you can, if you can just bring that moment in your experience right now, the moment when you held your child for the very first time. Uh, so the child was just born, and the doctor, or whichever nursing home or hospital you were in, handed over the child to you, and you held that child for the very first time. Like I'll shut up for 30 seconds. If you can just experience it right now, that you're holding your newly born in your arms right now. Uh, That whole experience was unbelievable. Uh, um, the whole world stopped at that point of time. There was nothing else. It was a miracle right in your arms. Now I'm talking about that experience which you had when you held your child for the very first time. That experience being with you every day of your life. And that's what parenting pleasure, parenting happiness, parenting satisfaction, joy, fulfillment, whatever you call it, is this. And that's possible. So if fathers are missing out on that, my request would be that's the experience. Uh, it's completely out of the world, and it's possible every day of your life. So going back to those questions, so you're saying fathers are more involved these days than a decade ago with limited time. How can fathers really be more active in parenting journey? Yes, fathers right now in the current scenario are very involved, far more involved than our parents. Multiple reasons of that. If you see first, when we were kids, that was about 40, when I was a kid, about 40, 45 years back, it was more that our parents were looking at how to provide. The biggest issue for them was providing for food, providing for shelter, providing for money, providing for us support, security. That was number one, and our parents had that duty to do that. And our fathers went out and did that, and with very little time they could spend with their own families. uh, Nothing wrong with that, but that was the era. Now the era of these children, our children, last 15, 20 years, uh, basic survival. So food, shelter, money, home, clothes is all taken care of more or less. So parents have more time, and now they're spending more time, both even fathers, to make sure that children are provided for and they can be more involved. Yes, there is. The issue which comes in is how do they do it? Now we mostly learn our parenting from our parents, but because we haven't seen our fathers getting so involved, so we are at sea to see what exactly do we want to do, how do we want to do. So we need to learn this out. We need to see what we can do. And yes, fathers more often than not have less time. But let me just address that it's not a matter of time. Parenting is nothing to do with time. Yes, time is required, but it has nothing to do with time. So, for example, somebody's asking what can they do for being more participative. Um, it's not as difficult to see it if you really look at your own schedule. And I'm asking all the parents, all the fathers right now. If you look at your own schedule right now, there are definitely pockets of time. Um, One of the tips which I want to give all the parents and all the fathers right now is we normally getting children ready for school in the morning is more often than not a mother's job, and we leave it to her. And some fathers do support, and that support is mostly limited to they going and dropping their children to the bus stop, to the school. So I'll let me drive into the school, or let me just drop them to the bus stop. My request would be, fathers, there's mostly no meetings, there's mostly no calls at 6:30 in the morning. Get up. Uh, that half an hour, 45 minutes of time, which is a most chaotic time of our working day, when we're getting our children ready and it's a race against time. My request would be to all fathers to get up that 15 minutes early. Wake up your child 15 minutes early. Make that 1 hour of time family time. I'm sure we don't get to meet them during lunch. Even dinners sometimes get missed out. But if you really see that 1 hour, make that 1 hour the most beautiful time for your family. Go have fun, go play music, go dance, enjoy yourself. Let your child participate. Talk to them, speak to them about the last day. That really make them one day like real fun. That will definitely be some time you can really spend. Uh, what else? If a mom is strict and scolding for something, how should react? Sakshi, uh, whichever way, if the mom is strict or the father is strict, my request would be the father and the mother to first sit down together and really think and talk to each other about what do we really want for them, and what our styles are going to be. Your style, Sakshi, and your husband's styles are not going to match. Never going to match. Uh, so one thing first thing first, if you've said something, make sure your husband doesn't say anything right there. So if you being strict, the idea for your husband, or when he's being strict or he's done something and you want to do something very diametrically opposite, uh, don't do it right there. Let it be. If one parent is saying X, even if it doesn't fit in your style, let that be. So they coming back, you talking about it later, and then going back to the child to what is to be done is perfectly fine. And my idea would be, rather than doing it piecemeal, spend some time, spend about an hour with each other, talking about the styles which work for you, styles which don't work for you. What do you really want for the child, and how do you really want for the child? Some ground rules should be put in, but if you start refuting, or a husband starts refuting about a style of yours right in front of the child, uh, it confuses the child more than anything else. The child doesn't know how to follow the mother or follow the father, and which will result in confusion, which will result in the child doing, not even knowing what to do, what is right, what is wrong. Uh, so don't refute each other in front of the child. Even if your father even is being strict, remember, they are doing it for the child. The style may not match with yours, it may not work also, but at any point of time, a father or a mother will not do something which is not for the child. So trust the person and talk to them later, because in their context, the way they were handling it was the best. So let this conversation happen later, so that you can understand and the father can understand, or the father can understand and the mother can understand, and really come to the same place. Uh, so Manisha, you were asking, there are certain things we differ with. So let's say one want to turn off the light for sleep, but my daughter yells to convince her dad to switch it back. Delays her sleep, affecting health. I want her to be brave and risk taking without using the word no. He constantly uses the word like no, don't, please. How does this work? Even though I have spoken it out a lot of time. Manisha, the problem is not in. So right now, again, what you are asking is that it's all about how your styles are different. So this conversation between you and your husband has to be done at a time when you can chat up. Like, I would say, go out for a coffee and really ask, understand his style, share your own style, and beyond that, share why are you saying what you're saying, and understand from him why is he wanting to do what he's wanting to do. Uh, so so remember, your purpose and your husband's purpose and your spouse's purpose is the same. He and you want the best for your child. Styles can be different. So, for example, I have to go to Mumbai. I can take a car, I can drive it down, I can take a train, I can go by flight, and I can go by a hopping flight. Um, I can even walk it. I can even bike it. It totally depends upon why and how. If I really want to enjoy the journey, I may want to bike it. If I really want to reach early, I will have to take a flight. So ways and means can be different. There's no wrong or a right way. Why is he thinking like that? Why are you thinking like that? Make sure you and he understands that why is he behaving, and why is he saying what he's saying, and what is the context of it, and what does he want to achieve from it, and you sharing why you want to do it and why are you saying it in a different way. Once you understand each other's style, then the third point would be to understand what the child needs. So maybe your child needs your style, maybe your child needs your husband's style, or maybe your child needs a third style. Uh, being strict, being disciplinarian, you can't say it's always right, you can't say it's always wrong. A lot of discipline has made a lot of people rebel. A lot of discipline has made people be great. A lot of discipline can have any impact, and that impact depends upon the how your child takes it. So it's very critical to understand your style, your husband's style, why behind it, and then understand what will work for your child. And one of the best ways of knowing what will work for your child would be to ask the child. And in this case, if both of you can sit down together, listen to each other, understand each other, and then involve the child also and ask what works for him or her, will really make a difference. So, I think I missed out a few questions. If you can just type them again. Anybody who has any questions right now? I just couldn't figure out. The last question I read was, yeah, Anu. So you said I want my husband to be an equal partner, parenting partner. I want things to be done in my way. Is this wrong to expect? How do we parent in a way that is together? Anu, Sri, if you really look at your question again, you're saying I want my husband to be an equal partner, and then you say I want it my way. An equal partnership, my way doesn't work. So you're saying, is it wrong to expect? I think you know the answer. How do you parent in a way that is together? You really understand three things, as I said before: your style, his style, and the child's style. They can be very different. And remember one thing: we all were brought up in a state which was about 30 years back. 30 years back, it was a very different world. There were no phones. There were very less cars. There was no metro. There was no communication. There was no TV. Uh, there was no branded clothes. So there was a very different world, and really get that. Uh, we look at our children and say they are addicted to gadgets. We were not. By the way, we didn't have any gadgets, and we were addicted to what we had. By the way, so all of us were addicted to something or the other. Either we were addicted to our cricket or football or friends or writing or whatever. So we were addicted to something, and these kids are addicted to what they are getting an exposure of. So it's a very different world. What worked for us will not work for our kids. Like, you can put it as a mantra. Uh, so understanding your style, understanding your husband's style, and then understanding your child's style. All three are critical before you really do it together. Uh, so we say parenting is like a concert, and we call this concerted parent. Concert. So in a concert, when you hear a real concert, you will see a guitarist playing, you will see a tabla playing, you will see a pianist playing, you will see flute being played, you will see 10 different instruments being played by 10 people each. In a concert, 10 people will be playing a guitar, 10 people will be on a piano, 10 people will be on drums, but you hear one music. They're tuned to the same music. So what we need to do is tune the music right. You will play a tabla, your husband will play a guitar, and your son is going to play a bongo. But the music has to be the same, and we need to understand the frequency, and we need to tune it right. For that, there's a lot of understanding each other. There's a lot of talking to each other, and accepting that yes, a bongo is different from a guitar, is going to be different from a piano. You can't make your husband play a piano by playing his own guitar. Not possible. So Mahesh, you're saying, okay, you've repeated that. Okay, so how do we reinforce a routine to kids for doing what their tasks on their own? Pile, very simple. Mostly parenting is simple, but it's not easy. So how do you reinforce a routine? Make sure there is a routine, and make sure they are following it. And if they don't follow it, you're not the one who is policing it. The minute you start policing, uh, the routine becomes yours, not theirs. They start looking at you. So, for example, if they have to finish off their homework, and they know that you, Payal, will not let them sleep till the time the homework is complete, the responsibility of getting the homework complete is with you, and they are not going to bother. They will make sure they will wait for you because you're the one who's following it up. You're the one who's going to do it, and they don't need to. They don't need to worry about it. So even if it's a 10 at night, they will be okay playing, sleeping, watching TV, doing something else, because they know that this responsibility of making sure the homework is done is with you, and you will make sure that you get them to do it. So in this example, tell them that it's your responsibility, and if you don't do it, then you don't do it. And they go back to school without their homework being done, and they face the consequences they face. If they'll punished, they'll be punished. If they have to do the homework in the morning at school, they will have to do that. If they miss their classes because of that, so be it. If they get less marks, so be it. Because they need to get that the consequences of their actions are on them. Right now, if you ask me, the consequences of their actions are on you. If they don't do the homework, you're the one who gets worried. If they don't get marks, you're the one who thinks will get pulled, and my child is not getting marks enough. It's not hurting them, it's hurting you. So right now, what we are trying to tell our children is that any action of yours, the negative impact, the negative consequences are not on you but on us. And this connection which we are making for our children these days, in terms of your actions have a result on me, are very damaging for them. So from a very early age, we need to let them go on their own, try it on their own, fail on their own, and face the consequence of the failure. Trust me, nobody in this world wants to fail. Everyone wants to win. And everyone wants to do it themselves. Do you have the courage to let them fall and get up on themselves? And let me tell you, you do have that courage. You had let them fall when they were walking. They wouldn't have learned how to walk without falling. They wouldn't have learned how to bicycle without falling. Uh, my simple request is let them fall, let them fail. They will get up. And once they get up on their own, they won't need you. And they will take responsibility of their life. I can't get my husband to be more involved in caring for our 14-month-old son. And I want his help. What can I do? Ask. Neha, ask for it. One of the biggest thing is one of the biggest distinction is the distinction ask. If you want it, ask for it. And Neha, let me create another context for you. You're not asking for yourself. Will your husband helping you in raising your child help you personally? The answer is yes. But think about it. The amount of support or what help this is going to give your child, your husband being involved will create a very different experience for your child. You know, there are traits which you don't have. There are traits which you currently maybe you have not nurtured, and these are not your strengths, but your husband's strengths. Your child will acquire them from him. The masculine traits which come so naturally for a man will very easily go to your child if your husband is very involved in parenting. So, for example, we've been brought up in an age where we were told, don't cry like a girl. तू तो लड़का है, तू रो क्यों रहा है? Don't be emotional. लड़कियां इमोशनल होती हैं. एंड लड़कियों को बोलते हैं ऐसे नहीं बोलना, ऐसे नहीं बैठना, ऐसे नहीं चलना. तू लड़कों की तरह क्यों कर रही है? Those are traits. Those are nothing to do with your gender. That's nothing to do with whether you're male or female. Each one of us, whether a female or a male, is born with all traits. So, can I be emotional? Sure. And if you look at the wall behind me, it's all up there. Can I? Do I feel ashamed at times? Do I feel lonely at times? Do I feel worried at times? Do I need to cry at times? Do I need to feel emotional and talk it out at times? And do I need to be strong at times? I need to be. There are certain masculine traits and there are certain feminine traits. These are traits which are just named that masculine and feminine, nothing to do with your gender. And to experience my entire life and really have the fullest of experience of my life, I need to experience each and every trait. If as a father, if as a male, I'm stopping myself to be emotional, I'm stopping myself to cry it out, I'm stopping myself to be expressive, then I'm not experiencing life to its fullest. Then I'm holding myself back. And if I, as a father, not participating in my child's rearing up or nurturing, then these traits which are coming naturally to me are not getting transferred. And the same thing happens to a female. Like a female, if she is not experiencing the strength of her, if she's not being strong, if she's not being the one who can be aggressive, then there are certain traits which she is missing out on life. And I would not definitely want my daughter to miss out on that. So I would want for both my children, to me and my wife, to participate fully, so that those traits which are feminine and masculine, which were not so nurtured when we were being kids, go to our children naturally, so that they can experience their life fully. So Neha, I think it's a very long answer to your short question. Uh, Ask him to participate so that it helps your child. He's participating for his child, which is far, far more important. So whenever I ask this question to any parent, who's the most important person in your life? Uh, Even if the wife, even if the spouse is sitting right next to you, nobody is able to say that he or she is the most important person. It's always been the child. And the things which we do for our child, we never do it for anybody else. So enroll your husband into participating in parenting for the sake of the child. Um, so what are some of everyday things which as a father one should do to build a positive bond with a child? Um, so something which comes naturally to fathers is like going out and earning, right? Having a career and making a living and supporting of your family. One thing which I really would want to ask fathers to do is share your day. Um, as a father, it's a tough life. Um, I'm not saying as a mother it's not. You going out, being out there as a career in a business, in a job, working your way out, earning for the family, being like there's a whole burden of earning in a family. In an Indian context, if you ask me, mothers or women still have an option of not to work. Uh, Men don't. And it's a fact. I'm nothing right or wrong about it. So there is that burden, there is that pressure. My request would be just share. Come talk to your child. Share about your day. What went well, what didn't go well, what excited you, what made you feel sad. Uh, that will really connect you with your child. One, it'll give you the space to talk about it. Second, it will give a space to your child to really get close to you, understand you, and believe me, they will open up. They will start talking about their days, and this will not take time. Just 10 to 15 minutes of it a day will make a huge difference in your life and your child's life. You can do that very simple. It'll create a bond never you will relish for your life. You will relish for your life. So someone has to be a strict parent out of the two. I think fathers should be strict and disciplinary. Only then we can have concerted parenting at home. Manvi, nice thought. Why do you want always the father to be the bad cop? And by the way, you don't need to be a bad cop at all, neither the mother or the father. Strictness does not mean I have to stop my child from doing something. I have to be there. Somebody my child needs to be fearful of. I keep hearing a lot of parents saying, here, one of us has to be strict. One has to be a bad cop, and one has to be a good cop to manage a child. You don't need strategies to bring up children. Be yourself. And as I said, discipline never works. Strictness never works. What works is making them responsible for their life. And what I was saying a bit earlier, just to say it again, when you give responsibility to children, trust them. Trust them that one, they will do it. Second, expect them to fail. They will fail. So when you give something to them and you expect them to do it, expect a failure. And then tell them to do it again. Trust them that they will do it one day. Expect they will fail and let them fail. Don't take it away. And support them. Like really tell them they tried well and tell them to do it again. And when they're failing in something new, focus on their effort. Focus on what they did, not on the results. And keep telling them that I trust you. You will be able to do it. I'm right there with you. I can promise you they will do it. Uh, Anchika, you're saying, is it true that I could spoil my baby by picking him up every time he cries? So Anchika, I don't know, what do you mean by every time he cries? Um, a child can cry because he's in genuine need of love, care, affection, or something he needs. It could be a 2-year-old or a 1-year-old. That's the only way they communicate. If they're hungry, they will cry. If they're soiled, they will cry. If they fall, they will cry. They don't have any other way to communicate. So you will have to really figure out what is this cry means and what age are you talking about. And yes, a child can use the crying as a tantrum to make you to get attention, to make sure that you do what he or she wants to do with you. Um, so picking him up every time he cries, I'll say if it's comforting, definitely pick him up, give him a big hug, tell them you're there and you'll always be there for him. If that crying means that follow my instructions, if that cry means a tantrum, if that cry means if you don't give me XYZ, I will still keep crying, let them cry. So, for example, a child is crying for something which you don't want to buy for him, give him a hug, pick him up, give him all the love, but not what he's crying for, which is not reasonable. Uh, so, I hope you got a feel of the answer on your question. So you'll have to really figure out why he or she is crying, and then give in to definitely love and affection, not into tantrums. And it's great to hug a child when he's throwing a tantrum. When he's crying and you can say, I can know you're crying, it's fine. I'm there with you. Give me a big hug. But you're still not getting what you forcing me to give you. Um, Anything else? So in short, here, my whole thing would be like I'm a proponent. We know it's Father's Day is tomorrow, and we are talking today to celebrate Father's Day. But personally speaking, I don't believe in one Father's Day. 365 days of your life are your Father's Day, and you will be a father till the time your children are on this planet. Uh, they will always remember you. You will always be their father. Even after long we are gone, we still impact their life. You have one of the biggest impact on your life, on their life. And if I ask you, anyone who's there right now on the call, listening to this, even fathers, I'll tell you one thing. Um, if I am stuck anywhere in my life, if I want to do something in my life, if I am upset with something, uh, or on the other hand, if I've done something great, and imagine right now, if your father walks into your house right now and puts his hand on your shoulder and just puts it there and says that I'm with you. And even for people who may be on the call or who may listen to this later, uh, who don't have their parents with them right now, uh, just imagine they coming to you and putting their hand on your shoulder and saying, I'm with you. Go do it. Uh, it's an amazing experience. Um, at that point of time, anybody in the world feels that now they can do it. Now they can handle anything else. They can handle any adversity. They can go and do everything. Just that tap on your shoulder, that their hand on their shoulder, and their one liner that I am with you. Go do it. Does wonders. It's a miracle which happens. And why I'm saying it right now is that's the power each one of you has with your own child. And don't keep it away. Just go, tell them, I'm with you, and you can do it. And they will do everything they want in their life. That's the power of your touch. That's the power of your belief in them. That's the power of you saying it out. Uh, and I was saying, this is not a one day, this is not a second Saturday or a third Saturday of June. Sorry, third Sunday of June every year. It's every day of your life. This one 5-minute chat with your child, connecting at a level which is there. So, for the last few years, for decades, we've made the father's role as a role of a provider. Uh, I just want to add a bit on that. Our role is that, yes, of a provider, and providing emotional, mental support, listening is also a provider. So let's provide that to our children, and I'm telling you, what you will get in return uh, will be a few 100,000 times more than what you give to them. So don't take it away. Uh, it's every day Father's Day. You are not a father on one day of a year. You're a father every day. You're a father every minute. Even if you're working at home and not even thinking about your children at that point of time, you are a father at that point of time. You can't say I'm only a father when I enter home. You're a father when you're sleeping. You're a father when you're eating. When you're a father, you're driving. So enjoy this fatherhood every minute of your life. It's one of the most enjoyable experience. Just be with them. Tell them you're with them. They could be your best emotional buddies. Trust me, talking to your children about your financial issues, your issues at office, we always have a fear that बच्चे इससे डर जाएंगे नहीं बताना चाहिए. We should not talk to our children about difficulties we are facing in our life. Try it out. I've done it for 18 years. The best advices, the best support is I've got from my own children. Um, and when they put their hands, and they can't even reach your shoulder, by the way, and they put their hand like this on your shoulder and say, "Buddies," and they listen to you, and they really get your word. Um, so do that. So let's do. So in other words, what I can say is, it's Father's Day tomorrow. It's a Sunday. Let's begin this journey from tomorrow. If you're already not there, it's not one day affair. Tomorrow is the start of this new journey for each one of you. Uh, it's just experience it. Just experience it. Just 10 minutes of it every day is enough. Any other questions? Okay, very useful fathers these days, I feel, have a very are very handsome. Okay. Sometimes we mothers only get a very critical because we want things our way. That's where I feel maybe our fathers to be active, mothers need to be more chilled out. Sure, yeah, chill out together. Have fun together. Let's see if these roles can be done together. And Shilpa was saying, my kids are always fighting. How do I deal with sibling rivalry? Shilpa, very quickly, two things. One, don't be a referee. Your job is not a referee. It's their life. Tell them, deal with it. So there could be something dangerous. So for example, if they're hitting each other or throwing stuff at each other, uh, just create a rule in your house that something like this, which can hurt physically, is not allowed. Is a no-no. Rest. Let them deal with it. Don't come in the way. Second, uh, don't compare. Now, this is a big ask from any parent, but I'm saying it in very simple words. देख तूने खाना खा लिया है, उसने नहीं खाया. देख तू लेट हो रहा है, उसने जल्दी तैयार हो गया है. देख उसने होमवर्क खत्म कर लिया है, तूने नहीं किया है. देख वो कितनी अच्छी तरीके से बोलता है, उसके कितने मार्क्स आ रहे हैं, वो कैसे उठता है, तेरे को उठाने में 10 घंटे लगते हैं, वो तो जल्दी से उठ जाता है. All these comparisons lead to sibling rivalry. If you can stop it, great. If you can't, too bad. This has to be weaned out. So, so are we closing it by any chance? I think we had 10 more minutes. If there are any other questions, if there's anything which I missed out and people want to just retype it, I'm game. Feel free. And it's not just about this 1 hour. Both Proeves and Parwarish are getting into providing you with the best of whatever is available for your children. So feel free to contact Proeves, contact Parwarish for any of your parenting needs. Um, and our commitment is that you and your children and your family have a great experience together. Uh, and your children have a great life in terms of they being able to break any barrier they have in their life and really experience life to their fullest. And you, as parents, enjoy uh, fulfillment, satisfaction in day-to-day parenting. Like that experience which I talked about when I started this chat, that the experience of the day the child was born and you held them in your arms and it was a beautiful experience, that experience every day of your life, and that's what we are committed to. So feel free to get in touch with us at Parwarish or with ProEves. Our commitment is that you and your children really have a great, fulfilling, joyous life together. Um, so I'm not sure if there are any more questions coming in, but again, a very happy Father's Day. Not just the 17th of June, but I'll say starting from 17th of June 2018. Let this be an everyday affair. Enjoying yourself as a father, as a parent, enjoying your time with them every day. And time really doesn't matter. The initial tip which I gave to everyone was like really get up in the morning and make sure that 1 hour in the morning is family time. Uh, Everybody has that. There are other pockets of times available like this. During those times, just put the phone away. Um, um, so I'll tell you, yesterday evening we had all gone out and we kept all the phones at home. We took one phone just in case for an emergency, which normally doesn't happen. Uh, if something happens to your car and you have to book an Ola or an Uber, but keep the phones at home. Do all your family outings without a phone. That thing is not required when you're together with the family. You will be with each other, chat up, play games, whatever it is. Enjoy your time. Be with them and really have fun. And a very happy Father's Day again. Um, all the best and keep in touch. We still have a few minutes. If there's something there anybody wants to ask before we drop off, I am still here. Divya, there's a lot of questions. I think I missed out a few. I don't know if I can see them again, and how can I see them on this screen? Uh, so I'm waiting for a few more questions if they come in. If they're not, signing off at a very small note again, which is parenting is a beautiful experience. Let's do it together. Uh, let's play the concert together. It's a concert. It's great to hear it. It great and it feels far fun, better, fulfilling, and joyous when you're playing it together. I know if you've been to a concert and seen the faces of the people who are playing all those instruments, uh, there's fulfillment and joy and expression written all over their face. Now that's the concert we want every parent, every child, every father to play at home together and have a great life, a great enjoyable expressing life as a family. So all the very best, and once again, very happy Father's Day. Let's take it on. Let's get all father to be in together, playing this game together, completely involved. And as I said, it's not about the time. It's about the intent. It's about the intent. About our context of parenting. 15 minutes a day is enough. And if you can provide this touch in those 15 minutes, it'll be really beautiful for both your children and for yourself. So thanks, Ruchita. Thanks, Divya. Thanks, Anu. Thanks for all the people for being on this chat. And asking all those questions was really great. It's an amazing experience. I'm at the end of an hour. I'm really overwhelmed. My own experience of parenting is like really live right now. Uh, and what I want to do right now is like really go home and give a big hug to both my children. And thanks for creating this experience for me. It's been great. So all the best. Have fun. Take care.